Greetings, parents, friends, and honored guests. I am Kismat Tauheed, valedictorian and proud member of the graduating class of 2022. It is my pleasure to open Hunter College's 224th commencement. Please welcome the president of Hunter College and honored guests, followed by the faculty processional. And now, please welcome our student processional, all candidates for graduation. Candidates for master's degrees and advanced certificates, followed by candidates for bachelor's degrees from the schools of social work, nursing, education, health professions, and arts and sciences.
Good afternoon. I am Aya Aravainen, Dean of Students, and I am so very pleased to welcome you here today. Now please stand for our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the You may be seated. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce the president of Hunter College, Jennifer J. Rabb.
Good afternoon, Hunter graduates, families, and friends. Welcome to the 224th commencement ceremony of Hunter College. I'm Jennifer Rabb and have the enormous privilege of being the president of Hunter College, where even during a catastrophic worldwide pandemic, the American dream still comes true. I hope you have posted a selfie to all your friends, letting them know you have earned a seat at Hunter's graduation. #HunterGrad. Today, I have the pleasure of congratulating and celebrating the truly amazing, unique, unstoppable, despite everything, and I mean everything, class of 2022. Think about this, graduates. When you entered Hunter, the word Zoom only meant to go really fast. The idea that you would ever see your professors' kitchens or their kids or their cats what kind of cornflakes they buy, that was something out of science fiction. And then science fiction became fact. In March of 2020, you got the annoying news that you had to go home and learn online for maybe 10 days because some virus was going around. You thought, okay, I can learn on my laptop for a few weeks. That's not a problem. But you and we had no idea the days would become weeks and the weeks become months and the years then. And still, you persevered. You persevered when it turned out that the rest of your family needed to share that laptop too. And when the Wi-Fi would stop working in the middle of a quiz, and when your sister was reading out loud while your mom was trying to talk to her boss, while your baby brother was climbing into your lap, and your professor was saying something that you couldn't hear at all because she was on mute. The world turned upside down, and there you were, teaching your professors how to unmute themselves and gently pointing out that with the sun streaming in from behind them, they were completely in the shadow and they looked a little like Darth Vader. But you persevered, often while working a job or two or even three and helping with family responsibilities. You persevered when many of you lost those jobs that you needed to help pay the bills, adding to the strain and compounding your feelings of isolation. And when at last Hunter's classes started up again and you returned to campus, you persevered even when the risk of travel with such a highly contagious virus added to your mental stress. Coming back to school was like landing in a parallel universe, almost like the one you left, but not quite. Now everyone was wearing masks, nobody was eating in the cafeteria or asking you to sign petitions outside of it. In fact, the only thing that hadn't changed was the wait time for the elevators. Now, how is it that we can have just about half the students back on campus, but the elevators are still just as crowded? That's a mystery even Hunter's famed physics department is yet to solve. But being back felt good. It felt good to see your friends and ask questions by actually raising your hand and not pressing the raise your hand button. And if the library was more crowded than a Charlie XCX rave, well, you found a place to sit on the floor and you persevered. Because as challenging as Hunter education was in any other era, it became exponentially more challenging. Everything seemed harder. Even the falafel guy on 68th Street raised his prices, and he was overpriced to begin with. You persevered, facing everything from job loss to sometimes, tragically, human loss. You are a remarkable class of graduates, graduating in remarkable times, and the world you are about to enter has been every bit as transformed as you have. Some of the careers that existed just 4 years ago are gone. New careers are opening up. TikTok consultant, anyone? In fact, it's possible the only thing that will outlast us all is that one evil force more powerful than nature itself, CUNY first. Graduates, I know how hard the past few years have been for you and for your loved ones. But after challenging yourselves with years of hard work and dedication, demanding every bit of your bandwidth, often literally, you have accomplished so much. We want you to know how proud we are of everything you've done to reach this pinnacle. At last, you've made it here to the moment you've all been waiting for, the moment you can finally change your CUNY Hunter status on Facebook, Meta, to Hunter alum. So congratulations to the Hunter graduating class of 2022. We're so proud of you. Woo! Now, as you can see, Hunter is a place of many talents. The professional bagpiper, Nicholas Rozak, who played that stirring rendition of Scotland the Brave, is a 2007 Hunter graduate and a proud member of the Department of Sanitation's Pipe and Drums. And opening our ceremony with that beautiful presentation of the national anthem was Elizabeth Zoto. Today, Elizabeth fulfills a promise to her mom to get this Hunter degree with a 3.96 GPA and a bachelor's in music. Elizabeth will start her master's degree in classical voice at NYU in the fall. Congratulations. Now, I think we all know that Hunter students come from all over the world. More than 150 countries are represented in our classrooms, and many families have traveled across oceans today to be with us. We have families here from 6 continents representing many nations. According to Hunter's great geography department, Nylar Lin's father traveled the furthest to get here. He came all the way from Myanmar, more than 8,000 miles. We say, Bingalaba, hello to you. Also experiencing serious jet lag is Aslan Saeed, brother of Zafar. He comes here from Uganda. We say, Tubasan Kide, welcome. To Mohammed Khan's mother, Rukhsana Abdul Rahman, who is here from Pakistan, we say, Supihir Bakher, good afternoon, and Mubarak Ho, congratulations. Iti Yefa Alasokar's father, Eben Mosi, is here from Nigeria. Now, there are many words we can use to greet him, since there are over 525 native languages spoken in Nigeria, but we'll just say, Sanu Dazwa, welcome. And from the other side of the world, we say, Kalos of Frisete, welcome to Mara Lampas, Mother Sofia Pavlou, who's here from Greece. So please join me in a New York cheer for all our special guests. And as we think, graduates of the greater world, all of us are profoundly touched by the tragic war in Ukraine and moved by the bravery of the Ukrainian people. Today, we celebrate the courage and determination of 2 Ukrainian families as we graduate Andrei Yatsikiv and Diana Jenis. Andrei was born in Lviv, a city we unfortunately know too well from stories about hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians seeking refuge there from Russian airstrikes. Andrei's mom brought him to New York when he was 3, but had to return to the Ukraine to care for his grandmother, who was stricken with cancer. Andrei started college without her, but he persevered, became a student leader, a science research intern, and an EMT with a 3.8 GPA, and will attend medical school. So Andrei's mom and his grandma, whose health is fortunately improving, are back in Lviv after fleeing Russian attacks, but still spend many nights in underground bomb shelters. But we know they are very proud of him. Diana Genesis, whose parents came to the US from the Ukraine, becomes the first in her family today to graduate college. She has many members of her family back in Ukraine, courageously surviving and fighting the war. Diana was motivated to study science by her brother's multiple sclerosis diagnosis, and she graduates today with a 3.9 GPA and multiple scholarships to pharmacy school at Touro College. Our hearts are with the Ukrainian people during this difficult time, and we congratulate all of our families and say, Slava Ukraine. Hunter students know what it's like to endure long lines at the library printers and even longer waits for elevators. Unfortunately, we don't give out a degree in endurance. If we did, it would go to our amazing scholar athletes like Taya Panagokis, a 4-year member of the Hunter College softball team and the 2022 CUNYAC Pitcher of the Year, leading our Hawks to an undefeated CUNYAC regular season of 20-0 and back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2008. Taya has found great success off the field as well. She's a Yale scholar with double majors in English and poli-sci with a 3.54 GPA. Before applying to law school, Taya is going to Disney through the Disney College program. Barrett Lowe is the men's Golden Hawk winner, the Hunter student who has made the biggest impact academically and athletically. He is a 4-year member of the men's basketball team and this season's captain, leading the team to the most wins for Hunter since 1999. A journalism and media studies major with a 3.2 GPA, Barrett has his own YouTube channel with 1.7 million views and is interning at SiriusXM. We look forward to listening to him on the radio and seeing him back to Hunter as a referee on our basketball court. And Annabelle Gregg is this year's female Golden Hawks winner. She is a member of both the indoor and outdoor track teams, leading these teams to the CUNY Championship this year. She is equally strong off the field, graduating with a 3.8 GPA at Roosevelt Scholar, political science major, and Annabelle was selected for the very prestigious Jeanette Watson Fellowship, focusing on developing future leaders, and our mayor's transition team for infrastructure. She will attend NYU's Wagner Graduate School of Public Service in the fall. Congratulations to all our scholar athletes. Now, for some students, the Hunter faculty are just mentors, but also role models inspiring their students to follow their lead and become professors too. We know that some of you here today will be back to teach the next generation of Hunter students. The economics department will be happy to have Michele Cafasso return to the front of the class. Michele came to the US from Italy when he was 16 after his mom entered the green card lottery so he could get an American education. Alone in a strange country, he had to learn the customs and the language, but he knew his mom made the right decision when he found Hunter's economic department. He's a published researcher, teaching assistant, and received his master's today as well as his BA with a 4.0 GPA. Our biology department has its eyes on Xinyu Zhu Jiang, who graduates today with a 3.9 GPA. Xinyu came here from Ecuador knowing no English, but her passion for science helped her overcome that barrier. A talented lab researcher who mentors others, Xinyu will start her PhD in biology at Cornell this fall. Megan McClure, who graduates today with a 3.99 GPA, could return to her major, history, or she could try our wonderful German department. Megan takes the first step towards her PhD when she leaves for Regensburg, Germany to get her master's in the fall on a 2-year fellowship fully funded by the German government. And our classics department would be fortunate if Hannah Lynch returns to teach. Like many of you graduating today, Hunter offered Hannah a second chance for a college degree. Hannah worked at our partner Shakespeare bookstore after leaving her first college. Her job was designing and selling Hunter gear on the bridge. Soon, she decided to enroll in classic courses and quickly became an honor scholar, researcher, and leader, bringing the modern focus of feminism to ancient studies. Graduating at 28 with a 4.0 GPA, Hannah will go to Harvard for her PhD in classics. So congratulations to these future faculty, and let's give a big round of applause to our incredible faculty here today. So graduates, you know so well, it is your family and your friends, your parents, grandparents, spouses, partners, siblings, kids, mentors, who are the wind beneath your wings, and your graduation caps. So graduates, please stand, turn around, look at your family, and give them your deepest thanks. Thank you. You can be seated. Now, speaking of families, most of us feel that Hunter is our home away from home, metaphorically or really. For others, it's just more literal. The Hunter family ties run down through generations. Take Mahua Khan, the daughter of Bangladeshi immigrants who came to the US to provide a better life for their family. Mahua chose Hunter for college and graduate school because that's where her mom enrolled when she came to the US. But her mom had to drop out of Hunter because she became pregnant with Mahua. Today, Mahua shows her gratitude to her parents by graduating with a 3.9 GPA, her master's in education, and a 2020 Hunter English degree, and she says to her parents, "This degree is for you." Kristen Clevenson and Dr. Rhonda Bondi are like a mother-like-daughter team when it comes to Hunter. Kristen is a brilliant curator who gets her master's degree in art history today, having already served as a curator. Before she leaves Hunter for the art world, she will welcome her mother, who is joining the Hunter faculty as the Pesky Professor of Special Education. Congratulations to a mother and daughter duo. And some of you are products of Hunter love stories, like Olenka Balena. Olenka, the daughter of Peruvian immigrants who came to Hunter in the 1990s to fulfill their American dreams of quality education. Her dad got a degree in math, her mom studied psych and education, and along with their diplomas, they got a marriage license. A few decades later, Olenka follows in their footsteps, graduating Hunter Macaulay with a 3.9 GPA, a BA in English Literature, a public policy certificate, and a legal minors studies. She has served on student government and has just been named a prestigious New York City Urban Fellow and will work for the mayor after graduation. And not only is the Hunter family in the house, but our CUNY cousins are as well. Here in Barclays, we welcome our colleague, Jorge Silva Porras, the Dean of CUNY School of Professional Studies, who is a thought leader in educational technology. But today he is off duty and here as the proud padre of Paula Silva, who graduates today with a BA in political science and a truly impressive list of extracurricular activities. And finally, we welcome a proud CUNY grandpa as our next speaker. It is an honored tradition at commencements for a member of the CUNY Board of Trustees to address our graduates. Now, our grandpa is none other than CUNY board member Fernando Ferrer, one of New York's most experienced, dedicated, and admired public servants. Freddie, as he is known to his family, friends, and countless thousands of admirers, has served New York City as a city councilman and borough president of the Bronx. He was acting chairman of the MTA, that's right, the boss of the subways, 3 different times. And in 2005, he won one of the toughest elections in town, the Democratic nomination for mayor. A graduate of Baruch's MPA program, he has always been a great friend of CUNY, going back to his days in the city council when he made a point of directing precious funds to university projects. And as a longtime CUNY trustee, he has always looked out for our students' interests while helping to oversee CUNY's improvements. And now he has a special tie to Hunter College because his grandson, Jalen Gill, is one of today's graduates. Jalen has done his grandfather and his grandmother, who, by the way, has 2 CUNY degrees as well, and his parents proud as a leading music theory student in the Hunter Macaulay's Honors College, a singer with the Macaulay Triplets, a clarinetist in variety of productions, and on top of these music accomplishments, an outstanding computer science student. He graduates today with a 3.8 GPA and plans to attend coding boot camp. Now, as a proud graduate, Jalen naturally wants his grandpa to have something that will remind him of Hunter connections at important times, like, say, when he's going over the CUNY budget and figuring out who gets what. So Jalen is here now to present his grandpa with a small Hunter memento. Hold it out, have him hold it out, because I can't see it. Hold it out, yeah. And it's my honor to introduce our CUNY trustee speaker, the Honorable Fernando Ferrer.
Thank you so much, President Rabb. That was a lovely surprise. And I'm grateful. Faculty and staff, guests, friends, families, valedictorians, salutatorians, and most importantly, all of the members of the Hunter graduating class of 2022. And because of the pandemic, 2021 and 2020 as well. First and foremost, my heartfelt congratulations to all of you, On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York, I joyfully celebrate your academic achievements today. In fact, hearing of so many of them, it makes me feel like a real underachiever. Incredible achievements. Anyone would be proud to call you an alum. Hunter, I think, is rightfully proud of doing that. And you ought to be very proud of yourselves, graduates, because of your hard work and sacrifice and commitment. Today represent an impressive milestone in your lives, one that you'll share with your families and friends, faculty and staff at Hunter College. And for many in the class of 2022, you are, like me, the very first in your families to see the inside of a college campus, much less earn a degree from one, and one of its most prestigious. Or continue with your education with an advanced Hunter degree. But whatever the reason, whatever brings you here, you are here, and that's what counts. This is also a moment to reflect on your own journeys. You've come from all parts of the city and more than a few other cities around the country and other countries around the world. Perhaps you and your families had to struggle just to keep up with supporting your families and put food on the table. Nothing was easier handed to you, but now you have a new way of looking at yourselves and the entire world. Like all graduates across the country, you will hear high praise for your perseverance, resilience, and determination, especially during these times, a once-in-a-century pandemic leaving too much loss and sorrow in its wake. And yes, you share those qualities with all 2022 graduates, but you have something greater that will inform your success and distinguish you. The insight that we are all surviving this together, chiefly because enough of us cared about making things better. As viruses and man-made crises, economic hard times, and despair focused hearts and minds on inventing vaccines and medicines, each of you, as part of a great new generation, helped your families and communities respond to loss and tragedy, and stayed focused on the important things in spite of all of that. Hunter College is a special place in which to learn and discover. The advantages, help, and honors you receive also come with a debt of honor, and that is to be repaid, and that is to pay it forward. Pay it forward with service to a world still in trouble and in need of repair. Leave the world a little better than you found it, and stand up against what is unjust and wrong. And as you repay that debt of honor, you'll find it doesn't leave you without, but filled up. And these words come from someone who still joyfully repays his own debt, incurred over 50 years ago. So I know who you are. Young people of great accomplishment, compassion, and commitment. You care about the world and its well-being. So be agents of change and make the world better for the next generation, starting right here in New York. Engage in your communities, speak up for those who can't do that for themselves. Serve your city and your fellow New Yorkers with pride and integrity, and pursue your passions with courage, confidence, and compassion. So on behalf of all the trustees of City University, whom I'm proud to represent today, congratulations, class of 2022. Go change the world.
Thank you so much, Trustee Ferrer. Graduates of the class of 2022, we, the faculty and administration of Hunter College, are deeply proud of you. After challenging yourselves with years of hard work and dedication, you have truly earned these degrees. As we celebrate you and say goodbye, I ask all of you to remember what Hunter has given to you and to commit yourself in some way to the Hunter motto. You have seen those 3 Latin words that encircle our logo, mihi cura futuri, the care of the future is mine. Today, I ask you to take those words into your hearts as you leave us. Thomas Hunter, an Irish immigrant, created Hunter College 152 years ago to train young women to become teachers. He believed in his obligation to the future. Hunter remains true to that tradition. You sit here today poised to celebrate your graduation because our society cared deeply about your future and ensured that you had the opportunity to earn a college degree and expand your intellectual horizons. Hunter has prepared you for the future. We have given you the tools to realize the extraordinary in yourselves. There are hundreds, thousands of extraordinary stories dressed in caps and gowns here today. Let me tell you about 5 of them and how they will care for the future. Paul Zurheide is extraordinary. As a high school student on Long Island, Paul didn't feel very smart, felt disconnected. He hated school, and out of 190 kids in his class, Paul graduated 172. From there, he drifted from job to job, spending less and less time at work and more time getting high in the parking lot. He thought of himself as a pothead and a cokehead and believed that's all he was meant to be. But then, at age 31, he hit rock bottom. He had no car, no job, and was about to lose his home. Facing homelessness, Paul did the hardest thing he'd ever done, which was to face himself and realize he had to change. He got himself to Alcoholics Anonymous and started to make some friends. He took life one day at a time, enrolled in community college, fell in love, discovered to his shock he was becoming a happy, well-adjusted adult. At school, he was still terrified every time he took a test, but he kept on going, and finally he applied to Hunter, the college he had dreamed of attending ever since he saw our Sky Bridge as a kid. Paul fell in love with history, but he also knew he wanted to work with kids like his old self, kids who hated schools and themselves. So he found his way to the Queen Zoo, where he started to teach teenagers about animals and science, exactly the kind of program that would have kept Paul himself from giving up and turning to drugs. Giving kids the kind of education he realized is his calling. So today, at age 38, Paul, the same student who graduated 172 out of 190, graduates with his degree in history, summa cum laude, with a 3.9 GPA. Paul is the proud dad of 2 children of his own and will care for the future by showing students there's plenty of love and learn to learn once you've opened up to life. Congratulations, Paul. Jasmine Kaur is extraordinary. Jasmine's parents immigrated from a small village in India, and if they hadn't, Jasmine says, she probably wouldn't be alive today. Jasmine was born with a single kidney and multiple related medical problems. Her surgery started before kindergarten, and some years she spent as much time in the hospital as she did in school. And often she had to translate the doctor's advice for her parents. But that only made Jasmine more determined to enjoy life as much as she could. In high school, she missed so many milestones when she was discharged from the hospital the morning of the senior breakfast, she went straight to the event just to enjoy being a normal high school kid. Right before starting at Hunter, Jasmine's beloved grandfather died and her mother left her in charge of the family when she flew home to India. Jasmine found herself taking care of her dad and her brother even as she started college. It wasn't easy. Jasmine was often in a lot of pain. Sometimes she couldn't sit through a whole class. But until last semester, Jasmine didn't even seek out our accessibility office, feeling that any help would give her an unfair advantage. Instead, she pushed through the pain, even in the hospital, to keep up with her grueling major, biochemistry. It's a major she chose because she already knew she wanted to help people the way people had been helping her through medicine. At Mount Sinai Hospital, she helped found the Youth Advisory Council, which brought in animal therapy, and she explained to doctors how it felt to be a kid with a serious illness. During her hospital stay, she devoured books and write, which is why she wound up minoring in English and even winning a Shakespeare essay contest. But outside the hospital, she didn't slow down either, teaching students Punjabi, becoming president of the Sikh Student Association, and helping high school students to prepare for their next steps. So today, after years of surgery, scans and procedures, hospital stays and setbacks, Jasmine becomes the first person in her family to graduate college. A Yale scholar with a chemistry major and a 3.5 GPA, Jasmine will care for the future by becoming a doctor who truly understands how it feels to be a patient. Congratulations, Jasmine. Mary Lou Reedy is extraordinary. When Mary Lou was a new RN with an associate's degree, she went to work at a hospital where a grouchy old patient would say to her every chance he got, "You wish you were a doctor, but you're just the doctor's helper." Mary Lou thought about that guy a little too often as she spent the next 10 years as an emergency room nurse while getting her own bachelor's degree and raising 3 kids. When she was finally able to start her master's, her husband sadly developed throat cancer. She had to resuscitate him from cardiac arrest at home and then navigate his diagnosis and treatment. As her husband recovered in the hospital, Mary Lou watched the nurses treat him with competence and compassion, alert to every subtle change in his condition. Were they really just doctors' helpers? And then, 6 years into getting her nursing doctorate, suddenly Mary Lou herself became the patient when she was diagnosed with a brain tumor. She underwent brain surgery to remove it. Throughout her operation, recovery, and rehab, she appreciated not just the attention and pain management provided by the nurses, but the fact that no matter how busy they were, they never showed it. They checked her neurological status, but also sang songs with her, prayed with her, and listened while she bragged about her children and new grandchild. Were they really just doctors' helpers? They were so much more. As a nurse, family member, and patient, Mary Lou saw they were the healers on every level. And today, as she graduates with her doctorate of nursing, Mary Lou can definitively say, she's not just a doctor's helper, she's a doctor of nursing. Graduating at 65 years old, Mary Lou will care for the future by treating patients with the love and care she received as one. And Dr. Reedy, as you leave us, we would like you to give your grandchild this Hunter sweatshirt so she knows where she's going to college. Chanel Thompson is extraordinary. In 2017, Chanel was working at a law firm when her mother called to say the kitchen is on fire. Chanel rushed home to see her family's home going up in flames. By the time the fire was out, their whole house and everything in it was destroyed, clothes, pictures, everything. Chanel moved in with her brother's family in the Bronx and was devastated. But with her brother's help, she enrolled in community college and gradually began to get the internships in the field she dreamed of, journalism. She did social media for the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival and got into Hunter, where she was chosen for a training program at NBC, where she created Foodie Fridays, highlighting local mom and pop restaurants struggling during COVID. A year ago, Chanel scored a production assistant job at Fox 5's Good Day New York. Sure, now her day started at 3 a.m., but things were looking really good until tragically Chanel's father was murdered. Someone in his Brooklyn apartment came after him with an ice pick and stabbed him in the heart. The case is ongoing, but Chanel's heart broke. She had always been Daddy's little girl, and she even looked like him. Her father's last text to her urged her to get enough sleep, and then he wrote, "I forgot to tell you what Ray Charles sings, I can't stop loving you." As she graduates today with her Bachelor's of Media Studies, Chanel is grateful her dad died knowing she was on her way to a bright future in the field she loves. She will care for the future by shining a light on the good on the world and understanding that every breaking news story is a family story too. Congratulations, Chanel. Davashish Basnat, Dave, is extraordinary. When Dave was 6, his father was attacked and the family had to flee a violent uprising in Nepal. They arrived in New York as refugees without money or English or even understanding what a Big Mac was. The family ate these for one of their first meals, only later to learn that they were made of beef, something for religious reasons they don't eat. Dave's dad found work as a taxi driver. His mom became a babysitter. Dave was placed in ESL classes and soon became the translator for his parents. Exposed to all the interviews and documents regarding their immigration, Dave realized their status in the US was dicey, but he tried to put his fears aside and especially not to burden his little sister. At school, he was thriving and fell in love with all things opera. When it came for time to apply to college, Dave hit a wall. He discovered that because of his DACA status, he was ineligible for federal student aid and couldn't afford the private schools that wanted him. But he was thrilled to realize Hunter College's grant scholarships regardless of immigration status, and soon Dave was enrolled as a political science major and singing with our choir everywhere from our own Lang Theater to Carnegie Hall. But it was in a public policy class one day when a professor mentioned immigration studies that Dave's world changed. There was an entire academic field dedicated to his life experience, immigration. Suddenly, he knew what he had to study. He interned at the US border at one point in the summer, and at one point found himself sitting across the table from a 17-year-old Mexican kid who had just crossed the border with his family, helping to translate for them. It was like seeing his own reflection, and at that moment, Dave decided this was the kind of work he would dedicate his life to. After all, he was born a Sherpa, a person dedicated to ensuring safe journeys in the Himalayas and beyond. Dave spent the next summers interning in the field of migration here and abroad. He started an outreach project for the children of Nepal, was elected student government president, and this fall he gathered all his papers to apply for the most prestigious scholarship in the world, the Rhodes Scholar. There are only 100 people in the world chosen for this scholarship, and only 33 are from America. A Rhodes Scholar gets a 2-year, all-expenses-paid tuition at Oxford University in England. Could this opera-singing Nepalese immigrant who'd grown up under the shadow of deportation, a student educated in public schools his whole life, compete against students from the elite Ivies? He decided to try, and that is how Dave Basnat became the second student in Hunter's history to win this prestigious scholarship. Dave is the only winner from a New York public college, so this Sherpa from Nepal graduates with a 3.9 GPA, a ticket to study immigration at Oxford University, and will care for the future by ensuring the safety of all who migrate by choice or by force. Congratulations to our Dave. And now, as you leave, we ask you to honor what Hunter has given to you by giving back to your community. Some of you will go on to careers in tech and help revolutionize our world. Let's give a shout out to all our computer science graduates who are now becoming software engineers. Nigel Ferrer is already making a difference as a software engineer at Google, while his CS classmate, Arenz Demalage, is an Albanian immigrant at Telos Air. Gabriela Gonzalez is helping to break the glass ceiling for women in tech at Spotify, while Julie Zhang, who is the president of Girls Who Code at Hunter, is bringing her tech skills to the business world at Ernst & Young. They will all turn to their classmate Alyssa Ma, an IT security associate at KPMG, who will get her master's in cybersecurity at NYU this fall. Congratulations to our CS winners. Some of you will be leaders in using artificial intelligence to advance science, like Ayu Lo, a Macaulay Honors student, math and computer science double major with a German minor and a 3.97 GPA. Ayu is also a McNulty Scholar, a prestigious honor for Hunter women in science. Her research focuses on developing models of the brain inspired by machine learning, and her goal is to pursue a PhD in artificial intelligence and computational neuroscience. First, she will be a research fellow at the prestigious Flatiron Institution of the Simons Foundation. Congratulations, Yolu. Many of you will care for the future by creating a healthier society. The pandemic has made all of us appreciate the contributions of our public health specialists like Fabia Rahman and Imani Sinak. Fabia's interest in public health stemmed from her childhood asthma. A teenage immigrant from Bangladesh, Fabia started the club Mission Nutrition to promote healthy eating at Hunter. Graduating with a 3.7 GPA in chemistry, she will attend NYU's Public Health Graduate School for her master's in epidemiology and go on to medical school. Imani Sinak, an immigrant from St. Lucia and a first-generation college graduate, majored in public health and public policy with a 3.5 GPA. She will care for the future of her South Bronx community as an organizer with the health group nonprofit Nos Quedemos. Anmal Saihota, a biology major with a 3.9 GPA, will help keep us safe and keep our teeth healthy. Anmal came to the US from India when he was 12 and helped support his family as a taxi driver. He will start dental school at Columbia University in the fall and then go on to serve in the US Air Force. Some of you will go on to help people with autism, like Lawrence Matthew. Lawrence today represents the first class of graduates from Hunter's new Master's in Applied Behavioral Analysis. He graduates with a 3.9 GPA and will open his own practice to support people with autism. Some of you will go on to make the world a better place by being activist lawyers like Trina Sultan, who is committed to advancing women's rights. A triple major in political science, special honors, and media studies with a 3.98 GPA, Trina will attend Harvard Law School in the fall. Some of you will graduate with new policy skills that enhance your already legal prowess, like Kashima Loney, who gets her master's in urban policy with a 3.97 GPA. Her new degree will help her care for the future in the General Counsel's office at the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development, where she will implement President Biden's executive order on advancing racial equality. Tasneem Sultana hopes to follow them into the legal field to promote social justice. Tasneem, who graduates today with a 3.94 GPA and double majors in poli-sci economics and public policy, came to the U.S. at 14 from Bangladesh. Before law school, she will advocate for minority and women-owned business in her new job at the Queen's Chamber of Commerce. Some of you will care for the future by becoming leaders in the nonprofit world, like Basmira Rassi. The daughter of Albanian immigrants who fled the war, Basmira will use her urban studies and human rights degrees to help underserved communities. She graduates with a 3.8 GPA and will be an education intern at the prestigious Frick Museum. Some of you will care for the future on the international stage. Katrine Marji came to the U.S. from Jordan as a young child, learning to balance growing up in two cultures. That skill will help her succeed as she starts her service with the Peace Corps. A philosophy major with a 3.8 GPA, Katrine leaves soon for Togo, where she will teach English. Some of you, like Kayla Benjamin, aspire to care for the future as foreign ambassadors. Kayla's passion for making the world a better place was fostered by the tragic loss of her brother to gun violence. Kayla, an immigrant from Guyana and a political science major and a Japanese minor with a 3.6 GPA, gained political experience as the vice president of our student government. Kayla will move to Japan in the fall to teach English and hone her diplomatic skills as a member of the highly competitive Japanese exchange and teaching program. Some of you will combine your commitment to public policy with a career in business, making our businesses more responsive, like Marissa Cronin, a Macaulay Honors political science major with a public policy certificate and a 3.9 GPA. Marissa is also the captain of our track team. She has a passion for community organizing and was the youngest member appointed to her Queens Community Board. She will combine her interest in policy and business in her new job at the prestigious McKinsey Consulting Company before she goes and gets her business and public affairs degrees. Some of you will care for the future as artists while integrating other passions. Taryn Lynch started dancing as a young child and did not stop even after major heart surgery at 11. Her illness led to an interest in mental health. So it is no surprise that Taryn double majored in dance and psychology. Today, she graduates with a 3.9 GPA and plans to care for the future as both a rockette and a clinical psychologist. And Peter McCauley will care for the future as an artist, a performer, and a butcher. Peter spent much of his high school years in juvenile detention and dropped out of high school. His artistic expression helped him find a way forward as an LGBTQ person from a working-class family ravaged by drug use. Peter turned his life around, got his high school diploma at 25, college followed. Today, at 37, Peter gets his MFA from our studio art program. He will care for the future as a studio artist, an art teacher, a skilled butcher, which helps him pay the bills, and as Dusty Miller, his master storyteller, drag queen persona. Congratulations, Peter. Like your classmates, each of you has an extraordinary story. Each of you has lived the Hunter dream. Many of you came to this country not knowing the language or the customs. Most of you struggled through financial difficulties and family and work obligations to finish college. Our hope is that each of you will commit yourself to Hunter's motto in whatever path you choose. In saying goodbye, we ask you to remain connected to Hunter by our joint commitment to care for the future of our great city and this great country. Congratulations, graduates. Now, Hunter has produced many stars in its more than 150-year history, and one of the very brightest is our commencement speaker today, Broadway's very own Jeanette Bayardelle. Jeanette is on Broadway now, starring in Girl from the North Country, the hit musical based on Bob Dylan's songs. She is so fabulous that she brings down the house night after night. Forbes magazine has called her performance breathtaking and illuminating, and she has been nominated for a Tony as a featured actress in a musical, one of the very top honors in musical theater. Now, as you all probably know, the Tony's Awards ceremony is being broadcast this very Sunday, so let's all tune in and cheer for Hunter's favorite daughter, Jeanette Bayardelle. Jeanette, this is not the first time you've been on stage with us. 5 years after your own graduation from Hunter in 2002, you had already made a name for yourself in a succession of off-Broadway shows, on the road and on Broadway, including taking over the lead role in Oprah Winfrey's production of The Color Purple to rave reviews. We were so thrilled by your success that we invited you to come to the 2007 commencement ceremony, and even though you were in tour in Chicago, appearing in The Color Purple, you flew in to perform. What you sang was a song from that show, I Am Here, and you were, to put it mildly, sensational. It's quite an artistic career for a girl from the Bronx who majored not in music at Hunter, but in medical lab science. That's right, she's a scientist as well as a singer-actress. She's also a playwright, composer, and lyricist. Because, Janelle, you've written your own highly praised, widely performed musical about a young African-American girl who sings about her ambition to become a writer. You've worked with Disney on films like The Princess and the Frog and Little Mermaid 3. You've toured in more than 50 countries in Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean, and you were asked to perform for President Obama and First Lady Michelle. And here's the amazing thing. You've done all this and still found time to create an online course about high finance. It's called Broadway to Wall Street, and it employs music, animation, and storytelling to explain stocks and bonds to wannabe investors. Using the arts to educate and inspire, now that is the Hunter spirit of caring for the future. I mentioned before that you were majored in medical lab science, which is surprising in one way, but not in another, because your father's a doctor, one sister's a nurse, and another's a pediatrician. You already came from a family that puts a premium on education, and you were further motivated during your studies at Hunter by a professor who urged you to go for top grades, saying, "I don't want you to be average." That professor was Dr. Regina Linder, who, even though she's retired, has come to celebrate with you today. I'm going to ask her to stand up so we can thank her for being an inspiration to Jeanette and so many of our other students. Thank you, Regina. So, Jeanette, as we create a new class of Hunter alums, we beam with pride at your Hunter achievements and honor your extraordinary career. You exemplify the Hunter motto of caring for the future. And so we are pleased, we're going to ask you to stand, and we are pleased today to present you with the Outstanding Alumni Achievement Award. Jeanette, we know you carry many warm memories of Hunter in your heart. So in addition to this award, we want to give you something with the Hunter name on it so that it's warm to wear when you go to the theater on chilly evenings. Here to make the presentation to Jeanette are 4 students of the class of 2022 who, like you, Jeanette, are multi-talented and hope to follow in your very large footsteps. Penelope Dean grew up, by her own description, as a queer, mixed-race woman in a suburban community facing racism, sexism, and homophobia, and suffering 2 traumatic sexual assaults. But she persevered, throwing herself into singing, dancing, and acting, talents she raised to new heights in our Baker Theater Department, where she played the title role in a gender-bending production of Hamlet. She graduates with a BA in Women's Studies today. Ashley Cortez Osei grew up in Queens, the daughter of immigrant parents. Her dad's from Mexico, her mom's from Latvia. That diverse background may explain her very wide-ranging interest in the arts, travel, and academics. Today, she graduates with a 4.0 GPA and a BA in dance. Ayala Santayela was raised in the Bronx by a single mom along with 2 brothers, one with cerebral palsy. She went to work at age 13 to help to support the family, but the hard times never diminished her love of dance and her determination to get ahead. She's a Dean's List winner of the Department of Dance Tops Award, and she, Jeanette, will follow in your footsteps to be a performer and a choreographer. And joining them is Gregory Duroche, who's the son of Haitian immigrants. Now, Gregory didn't train as a singer or a dancer or an actor. No, his ambition is to go into financial services, just as you have, Jeanette, with your Broadway to Wall Street course on investing. Gregory is certainly off to a great start. He graduates today with a 3.92 GPA, special honors BA in economics, and he's already lined up a job with Jefferies, a major financial company. So students, please present the award and the sweatshirt. Help him make a good picture. Why don't you help hold the award? And now welcome Hunter's outstanding alumni, Jeanette Byardell.
Good afternoon. Wow, this is just amazing. I'm so excited about being back home. It's been a while, but I'm happy to be here. I love you too. This is such an honor. I tell you guys, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so proud to be a Hunter graduate. Like, it does my heart proud just to see you all in your purple, and congratulations. Thank you, President Ryan. Thank you so much. Dean Aya, CUNY trustee Fernando Ferrer, Ms. Maisha Smith, Director of Student Life, Ann Lytell, Mr. J.O. Sanders, who's one of the stars of the 7-time Tony-nominated Broadway musical Girl from the North Country. He's over here. William G. Griffiths, my dear friend and multi-award-winning author, who is also present. To all of the faculty, the lovely graduates, their families and friends, I have been looking forward to spending this time with you. It is an incredible honor to have been asked to deliver the commencement address here at Hunter College for the class of 2022. The education I obtained here at Hunter is primarily responsible for the success I've had as an artist. Now, some may wonder, how is that possible, being that you were a medical laboratory science major and graduated with a bachelor's degree in health science? Well, it was here at Hunter that I learned discipline. It was here that I learned the importance of staying focused and completing a task even though it didn't seem to make sense for my long-term goals. I always wanted to be a performer, but I knew I needed to cover my bases just in case things didn't work as planned. So coming from a family of doctors, I figured if things didn't work out in the entertainment business, I would go to medical school. Fortunately for me, things worked out. Unfortunately for you, I would have been a fierce doctor, I'm telling you, a fierce one. So as things worked out, not after things worked out, I'm so sorry. Fortunately, things worked out for me, but not as planned necessarily. Back then, I figured once I graduated from Hunter, I could solely focus on the entertainment business. I would be discovered, record a hit record, and be the star of a big Broadway show. Now, I would love to tell you that it happened just the way I planned, but it didn't. There were many detours along the way that I did not anticipate. Today, I will share with you some of my life lessons and the techniques that helped me hold on to my dreams, even when things weren't working in my favor. I would discuss how I leveraged rejection and disappointment in 5 steps. I was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. I went to Fiorella H. LaGuardia High School of the Performing Arts. It was there that I learned about theater. I auditioned for my first professional theater job in high school, and guess what? I booked it. It was a reading of a new musical. This opened up my appetite for musical theater and set me on a path to Broadway. Fast forward to when I graduated from Hunter. A week after graduation, I auditioned for the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. And guess what? I booked that too. After spending 6 months on the ship and traveling around the world, I wanted to explore jobs on land. So I ended up booking the national touring production of Rent. After Rent, I booked another national production of Big River. And then in 2005, I booked my first Broadway show, The Color Purple. Now, I was finally going to Broadway. However, there was a little twist. I was hired to be a swing. For those of you who don't know what a swing is, a swing only performs when one of the actors on stage is unable to do the show. You don't get to perform every night. You show up at the theater, but you only perform if someone calls out of the show. Now, a lot of times as a swing, you feel undervalued at times because you don't have your own role. Well, one day, The Color Purple was shooting a national commercial for the show. I was called into the shoot because one of the onstage actors had an emergency and couldn't attend. Initially, I was really excited. However, when I got there, I was very disappointed. I noticed that because I was an understudy, they were blocking me out of the shots. So that means that if the camera was shooting this way, they were like, oh, Jeanette, stand right there. Oh, perfect, perfect. And they would shoot this way. And if it would shoot this way, they would have me stand over there. And I mean, it was so bad that I went to the bathroom and I cried because I felt invisible and that no one, the sad thing was, no one even realized that I was gone. They continued to shoot the commercial without me. And that day, I decided that I was gonna get back into the driver's seat of my career. About 6 months after that commercial shoot, they cast me as Celie in The Color Purple, the lead role in the show. I went from being a swing to being the lead.
Wow.
So step one in leveraging rejection and disappointment is acknowledge it. You should acknowledge your feelings. You know, sometimes you get hurt, disappointed. Acknowledge it. However, don't dwell on it for too long. Refocus and get back in the game. Step two, don't let unfortunate situations dictate your future. Be proactive. Your thoughts and ideas can become reality. When I was in Hair on Broadway, we received our closing notice. The show would only play 2 more weeks. Now, us on Broadway, we don't like getting those notices because that means that we're not getting paid no more. And that means that we have to find another job. So I decided then that I was gonna write my own musical because I didn't like the feeling of waiting around for someone to hire me. I spoke to one of the producers of the show about my idea. He loved it. A year later, I did my first off-Broadway production of my own musical entitled Sheeta. I turned that thought into reality. Since then, Sheeta has played in New York, LA, Virginia, Massachusetts, London, and soon headed back to New York for a Broadway run. Step number 3, surrender to your creative self. Let the creativity flow. Learning something new can be a very beneficial distraction from tough situations. During the pandemic, I took interest in learning to play the guitar. I found an instructor and began taking lessons. Now, the excitement of being able to play the guitar was such a high for me. It was my motivation to learn. I love the sound of the guitar, especially when it's layered with smooth vocals. Learning to play helped me with patience, fortitude, and it showed me that I can do whatever I put my mind to. It gave me confidence in learning new things and to continue to go after what I want. It also taught me no pain, no gain, because my fingers were in pain when I first started out. Anybody who knows about playing the guitar, it really hurts your fingers. So the guitar came into my life during a very difficult season. The future was uncertain, as we all know. But with it, my days were brighter. It gave me hope for tomorrow. I will forever be grateful for its beauty and ability to bring me peace through such a difficult time. And I was able to create my own peace bubble. Step number 4, search your skill set. Do not put limitations on yourself. Be open to learning new things outside of your comfort zone and even outside of your industry. I love that I have a background in health science. I love that I sing and act, but I also love that I have a passion for financial literacy. During the pandemic, when I wasn't playing the guitar, I created Broadway to Wall Street, which has an introduction to the stock market online course that includes music and animation, which makes the learning process fun and enjoyable. I took my gifts and talents and I combined them with the knowledge and experience that I had in the market. I created something that is innovative, fresh, and effective. What did that do for me? It gave me options. Because of the diversity of my skill set, I am now able to negotiate from a place of want and not need. I now have the flexibility of saying no to job offers that are just not a perfect fit for me because I have secured other means to make money. So when rejection and disappointment creeps in, it doesn't really hit that hard because I'm in the driver's seat and I have the power to control my destiny. And when doors shut, I now realize that those doors were just not for me. Broadway to Wall Street is a door that I created for myself, allowing me to educate, entertain, and use all of my creativity. The people who take my course thank me constantly for demystifying the stock market and making it easy for them to understand. Searching your skill set can lead to you becoming the answer to someone else's problem. So I encourage you to explore all of you. Don't let people put you in a box, and more importantly, don't put yourself in a box. Don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to invest in your knowledge. Be a lifelong learner. Nothing is out of reach for you. Enjoy and explore the life you were given. The final step, this is my favorite step. I call it sign, seal, and deliver. This is where preparation meets opportunity. This is when all of your hard work, tenacity, and focus pays off. Doors start to open. The phone starts ringing. Offers come in, and your life changes for the better, never to be the same again. The challenges of yesterday have led you into the blessings of today. I am experiencing my sign, seal, and deliver moment now. When I started working on the Tony-nominated Broadway musical Girl from the North Country, I wasn't thinking about the awards it could possibly give me. I was focused on the work, creating something amazing, and building relationships with an amazing cast, crew, creatives, and producers. When we were making art while weathering many storms together. Because of the pandemic, we opened the show in 2020, and then we closed. Then we opened again in 2021, then we closed. Then we opened again in 2022, and now we are experiencing the fruit of our labor. We received 7 Tony nominations and a Grammy nomination. We were resilient in the same way that I know all of you have been. You've managed to complete your studies during the world's most challenging times. You pushed through, persevered, and you overcame, and you made it to the finish line. I know it wasn't easy, but you did it anyway. Today, you are eating the fruit of your labor. You are showing me what perseverance and hard work looks like. I am honored to be here with you, celebrating your accomplishments. I celebrate you today, and I congratulate you, Hunter Class of 2022. I want to end with a song that I wrote entitled, I Believe. It's a song of encouragement and empowerment. I believe.
I believe you can be anything you put your mind to and do the impossible. I believe you can soar like an eagle, be brave like a knight, or even touch the sky. I believe you can go where no man has ever been before. Discover new places, see new faces, become president. I believe, yes, I believe. I believe you can have the life of your dreams. If you choose to, you'll do the incredible. I believe you have greatness inside you, and nothing can stop you if you don't want it to. I believe you can speak blessings into destiny. Create a new world with the words that flow out of your mouth. I believe, yes, I believe. I believe you can fly high like an eagle. I believe you can soar to heights unknown. I believe you can climb the highest mountain. I believe you can go where no man has ever been before. Discover new places, see new faces, become presidents. I believe, yes, I believe. I believe, 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 I believe you'll become number one, but you have to say to yourself, yes, I believe.
Congratulations.
Okay. So who's winning the Tony Award on Sunday, man? Let's hear it for our own alum, Jeanette Bayardell. Woo! And Jeanette, I think that just became our official graduation anthem from now on, so there you go. So students, while all of you work hard and face challenges, there's one group today that warrants special congratulations. Students who were brought to this country as children, often enduring dangerous journeys, and who through no fault of their own are living without the benefits of citizenships. These dreamers, as they are known, are succeeding against all odds in getting the college education they receive today. Itzel Juarez Garcia's family came here undocumented from Mexico when she was just a toddler because her family could not provide for 4 little children. The family persevered until her father was deported when she was in high school. Now her mother had to provide for 4 kids alone, so Itzel started to work to help the family. The Dreamers USA Scholarship helped her with tuition at Hunter, but she still had to work from 6 a.m. or late night shifts so she could fit in classes. Today, she graduates with a degree in accounting and will work as a financial analyst at PNC and care for the future by opening a resource center to help families like hers. Montserrat Lopez also came undocumented from Mexico to the US, but had a more harrowing journey. Her father left before she was born, and her mother left her behind when she was 2. At the tender age of 5, her grandmother put her in the care of a coyote to cross the border. Fortunately, Monty was one of the lucky ones who made it safely to the US and adjusted to American life. But the family faced serious challenges during COVID when her father lost his job and there were no financial protections for undocumented workers. The attorney who helped her dad and the other workers at his diner recover their back pay inspired Monty's plans to become an employment lawyer to bring justice to the workplace. A student government leader, a poli-sci major with a 3.65 GPA, Monty will work as a paralegal on consumer protection while she applies to law school. Congratulations to Monty and Itzy and all our Dreamers. So graduates, before we go on, there's one more group you can't forget to thank. Yourselves. You did the work, you took the tests, and you earned the grades to make it to graduation today. So it's about time to shake your hands, throw them up in the air, and shake those pom-poms. Where's my hug? Thank you. Today, as we urge out for Janelle and her soon-to-be, hopefully, Tony, it's a perfect day to celebrate winners, and Hunter is a place that proudly produces them. Fulbright Fellowships are one of the most coveted awards given each year by the U.S. State Department and recognized the world over. Hunter has consistently been among the top 20 colleges in the U.S. that produce Fulbright scholars. This year, the Hunter community was recognized with 6 Fulbright winners, and 4 graduate with us today. Starting with Kathleen Ray, a Macaulay doubles major in English and Psychology, certificate in Human Rights with a 3.8 GPA. Kat's passion for English was recognized with a Fulbright Award to teach the language in South Korea. To prepare for that, she has been teaching herself Korean for the last 2 years. Congratulations, Kat. The Fulbright is the most recent foreign language award bestowed on Salwa Najmi, a Macaulay Honors and Arabic major with a 3.96 GPA. Salwa's Fulbright Fellowship will fund her research in Morocco, her parents' native country, where she will study disparities in maternal health. Then Salwa has to make a tough decision for her return. She declined admission to an NYU master's program in Middle Eastern Studies in favor of starting medical school at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. Congratulations, Salwa. Also receiving a research Fulbright Fellowship is Chloe Muller, who graduates with a major in Thomas Hunter Honors, Environmental Studies, and a bachelor's and master's in economics. Chloe is also a varsity swimmer. She will research the concentration of calcium carbonate in the Rhone River Delta, an indicator of global warming. At the same time, she will study for a master's degree in oceanography at the Sorbonne. She plans to get her PhD and care for the future as an advocate for marine conservancy. Congratulations, Chloe. And this prestigious award is particularly meaningful for Luisais Chaveras. Luisais overcame many challenges to get here today. For the past 14 years, she has lived in 9 houses, attended 6 schools, shifting back and forth between New York and the Dominican Republic, where she was born. Luisais came to Hunter as a SEEK student, a program for students with great potential but who are academically and financially struggling. And so her success as a Fulbright scholar is particularly sweet. Luisais graduates today as a psychology major, a women and gender studies minor with a certificate in human rights and a 3.8 GPA. She will teach English in Mexico and work with groups protecting women against sexual violence. Congratulations, Luisais, and all of our Fulbright winners. And speaking of winners, it is now time for the class of 2022 valedictorian address. However, there is one small, wonderful problem. We have 12 valedictorians. Not even Hunter's renowned accounting department could find a way to break a 12-way 4.0 grade point average tie. And so we decided to have 2 valedictorian speeches to represent this amazing group. Certainly, any of the 12 could have spoken about how today is the culmination of a dream and about their gratitude to their alma mater for preparing them for the next chapters and what chapters they will be. Kismet Tauheed got his love of healthcare and Hunter from his dad, a Bangladeshi immigrant who received his undergrad and graduate degrees in nursing from where else? Hunter. A Macaulay Honors biology major and a music minor, Kismet is a science tutor, TA, mentor, and a volunteer at Elmhurst Hospital, and he plays the trumpet in Hunter's jazz band. Kismet will attend Rochester Medical School and care for the future as a doctor. It's no surprise that Valerie Iofi Yelsukov is one of those super achievers, raised by immigrants who instilled the value of hard work and determination and encouraged her to try everything from boxing to hip hop. Valerie had to serve as the family translator and dealt with banks and service representatives. She grew up quickly and learned not to be scared of anyone, regardless of their position. It's no surprise then that Valerie, a Macaulay Honors Econ major, will go into business and work at Viva Systems in Analytics with a big dream of designing Times Square billboards as a marketing executive. Congratulations, Valerie. Chantal Polinsky truly lives the Hunter motto of caring for the future. A Macaulay Honors psychology major and social justice advocate, she speaks out on behalf of the homeless and children at risk. She will go on to work at the Vera Institute of Justice, the first step in what will certainly be a successful career in nonprofit leadership and social justice. Congratulations, Chantal. G's son, Reiner, fell in love with the environment and environmental studies in high school when she joined a project to wade into the freezing Hudson River to count glass eels. She explored marine biology at Hunter as a Macaulay Honors environmental science major, while also focusing on what it means to be a citizen scientist as a sociology major. She interned with wilderness organizations while also finding the time to sing in the Hunter Choir and study Korean. Jin-sun will get her PhD in environmental conservation and care for the future by helping to preserve our planet. Congratulations, Jin-sun. Margalit Shatri-Klein, also an Macaulay Environmental Studies major, will join Jin-sun in this endeavor and also sing some duets with her. Margalit is also a member of the Hunter College Choir and grew up deeply interested in the natural world. Her family created an urban farm in the Bronx, and as a child, she tended plants and fed chickens. Margalit will care for the future as a fellow of the USDA Forest Service and the Nature Conservancy, studying tree health in New York City before going to grad school. Congratulations, Margalit. So representing these first 6 valedictorians is Laura Album. Laura knew from a young age that she would follow her parents, a doctor and a dentist, into healthcare, but she didn't realize how complicated her teenage life would be. When Laura was 15, during a period of political upheaval in Brazil, Laura's parents made the difficult decision to leave their home country. Laura and her family arrived in New York City where they knew no one. Laura had to navigate a new school in English. But fortunately, she found Hunter in the form of our early college high school, Manhattan Science High. By her senior year, Laura was on our main campus taking college courses, which allows her today to graduate in 4 years with her BA and MA in Thomas Hunter Honors as well. She received a full Janovic scholarship to Hunter, where she has been unstoppable. In addition to her perfect grades, internships in research labs, and teaching assistantships, she is a leader in the Yalo Honors Program, a finance commissioner for student government, and in her spare time, minored in dance and is a star on our winning tennis team. Throughout all this, Laura has faced many challenges in studying and working in this country as an immigrant, which has propelled her to work on behalf of other immigrants as a translator. Laura will work in a urological cancer lab at Memorial Sloan Kettering while she continues to address her immigration challenges so she can apply to American medical schools. Please welcome our first valedictorian speaker, Laura Album.
Thank you, President Rev. Good afternoon, everyone. It is truly an honor to be here on this stage today, hearing the stories and the advice from our distinguished guests, our honorees, and of course, seeing all the faculty, the staff, the family, and the friends that have supported us through our journeys and are here today to to celebrate this very special accomplishment with us, the Hunter College graduating class of 2022. Congratulations, or as we say it in Portuguese, parabéns. This feeling of excitement with a hint of fear takes over as we take the next steps away from Hunter and towards our future. The last time I felt like this was around 6 years ago when I boarded a plane with my mom, my dad, and my sister, and we moved from our hometown, Belo Horizonte, Brazil, to the great New York City. I knew it then, as I know it now, that these moments will mark my life's trajectory. At these remarkable points in time, we know that everything's about to change, and we look forward to the new experiences, the new connections. But the uncertainty of the future can still be a bit frightening. And sometimes we may worry that we will not overcome these new challenges. I certainly have felt like this before. But today, I would like to challenge this fear. Because if there is one feature of the Hunter community that stands out, it is our resilience. We are a fierce group of graduates composed of people from multiple racial and ethnic backgrounds, genders and sexualities. We are first-generation college students, immigrants, and/or children of immigrants. We overcame so many barriers and obstacles just to be here today, including living one of the epicenters of a pandemic. Not too long ago, we were stuck in our New York City-sized apartments, worried about friends and family who were essential workers, grieving the loss of loved ones. And while going through all of this, we still managed to find a corner where we could sit down, open our computers, log into Zoom or Blackboard Collaborate, I don't know which one you guys prefer, and study, even though that corner was not always as peaceful and quiet as we hoped it would be. Gladly, we were able to come back to campus in our last year, and though it became harder to be on time for class now that we had to commute and wait for the Hunter elevators, we gladly got to reconnect with our classmates, or in some cases, meet them for the first time. And we got to say a proper goodbye to Terry and Yaki and the 68th Street Halal cards. We fought for a seat in the 6th floor library for hopefully the last time. And of course, we got to enjoy the view of the sky bridges as students one last time. We grow and we learn from each challenge that we confront. And through our path, we find mentors, family, and friends that give us strength and advice when we need it the most. Now we become the mentors as we go on to share our stories and our knowledge with those who need our help, and we will inspire them to persevere. For the past 4 years, the stories of you, my classmates, who pushed for significant adversity to be here today, have given me hope. Your strength and determination have inspired me to keep working hard towards my dream of becoming a physician here in the US, even as I dealt with challenges on my ongoing immigration journey. So thank you, classmates, friends, faculty, and a special thank you to my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, and my grandma who flew all the way from Brazil to be here today. Now, dear classmates, when that fear and that worry comes back, I want you to think about this day and the journey that has brought you here. Remind yourself that you do have the strength and you do have the knowledge to make it through the new challenges that the future will bring. Do not be scared of taking risks. Do not be scared of making mistakes. They are a part of the process. And it is by pushing yourselves out of our comfort zones that we learn and we grow the most, just as Hunter has taught us. So look around you. We are surrounded by the future leaders of our generation. Trust me when I say that we are ready to take the care of the future into our hands. Thank you.
Congratulations to you, Laura, and to all your fellow valedictorians. And as you said, we are always proud of our graduating class, but this year we recognize how the pandemic made getting a Hunter degree even more difficult. And this is so much to celebrate. There's no graduate whose life was not impacted by the pandemic. Some of you, though, have been on the front lines, literally or figuratively, dealing with papers and classes and deadlines, while also helping loved ones, healing the sick, and sometimes, sadly, honoring the dead and stepping in for those lost to COVID, as have these 4 students who represent the bravery of so many in the 2022 class. Stephen Gray, a student government leader who identifies as queer and non-binary, found themselves the de facto head of the family of 5 siblings when their father tragically died during COVID during the pandemic. While maintaining their 3.7 GPA and taking on the overwhelming family responsibilities, Stephen still made time to be a grassroots leader in combating vaccine hesitancy in minority communities. When their family rejected them, when they disclosed their sexuality, Stephen recommitted themselves to political organizing for social justice, but still helped his family pay their bills. Stephen becomes the first in his family to graduate college today and will care for the future as a public policy expert. Kazi Hussein represents those of you who spent the pandemic making sure that others would be able to wear their caps and gowns. While studying history and maintaining a 3.98 GPA with all his classes online, Kazi was a full-time teacher for K-8 students from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. every day. He was there for them online, teaching and helping with homework while developing the next day's lesson plans before signing off and signing back on to take his own Hunter classes. The son of Bangladeshi immigrants who struggled financially during COVID, Kazi managed to complete his college education in 2 years and will be a lead middle school teacher in history in the fall. Congratulations, Kazi. Rudina Kurtaj, daughter of Albanian refugees, became a leader in convincing Gen Z youth to get vaccinated by joining the Weill Cornell COVID-19 STEM Community Education and Empowerment Project. She and her cohort were recognized for this impactful social media campaign by none other than Dr. Anthony Fauci. Rudina, who graduates with a 3.5 GPA, will care for the future as a doctor. Congratulations, Rudina. Ashley Hines, a medical lab science major like our dear Jeanette, was moved by the pandemic to train to become a certified EMT. She came to the U.S. at 13 from Jamaica, and while she struggled to assimilate, Ashley was grateful for the opportunity to become the first in her family to graduate from college. During COVID, working long hours as an EMT, Ashley said she often helped people on the worst day of their lives. Ashley, who graduates today with a 3.7 GPA, will build on this experience as an EMT as she applies to be a physician's assistant. Congratulations, Ashley, and let's thank all our COVID heroes. And now it is a pleasure to introduce our second set of valedictorians. Sharon Israel is the daughter of refugees from Tajikistan who fled Central Asia for a better life. Russian was her first language, and her experience as a first-generation college student made her a popular tutor and leader in our Science Skills Center. A devoted science researcher, she has worked in an optics lab and has published in ophthalmology journals. A Sage Scholar and human biology major, Sharon will return to Hunter as a chemistry TA as she applies to medical school. Congratulations, Sharon. Joshua Gadashi has strived to help people the world over. Joshua moved to Israel after high school, where he served in the Israeli Defense Forces as a platoon sergeant. Through his time in the service, Joshua learned that difficult situations help you grow and help you be part of a team. Joshua is a Macaulay Honors Economics major and will start his business career as an analyst at Morgan Stanley Investment Management. Congratulations, Joshua. Julia Kenny, a Macaulay Honors Psychology major with an English minor, will care for the future as a tireless advocate for children with autism. Her expertise in applied behavioral analysis has allowed her to work with children on the autism spectrum and research how to best integrate these students into the classroom. She will attend Rutgers University's Graduate School of Applied and Professional Psychology, where she will earn her PhD and care for the future as a school psychologist. Congratulations. Eli Feldman is probably one of the few people who doesn't think Hunter is crowded, since he grew up as a triplet. The son of Syrian refugees, Eli has worked hard to give back to his community as a pre-health mentor, a food pantry counselor, and a dog walker for the disabled. Eli is a Macaulay Honors Bio major with plans to attend medical school, where he will focus on neurology. Congratulations, Eli. And we hope to welcome Valentina Volpe back to our chemistry department after she completes her PhD. A peer mentor, Valentina's empathy and compassion will make her a wonderful teacher. She works on translational research to help bring her discoveries in the lab to help save lives at the bedside. A Macaulay double major in chemistry and human biology, Valentina will work as a research assistant in a chemistry lab as she applies for grad school. Congratulations, Valentina. And delivering our second valedictorian address is Priya Singh, the daughter of Indian immigrants who struggled to make ends meet. Priya's childhood experiences as an outsider, having to learn a new language and try to fit in, inform her commitment to helping others, both in her passion for global health and her volunteer efforts closer to home. After completing cancer research internships, she received the very prestigious Jonas Salk Award and is now a fellow with the U.S. Health and Human Services Department studying monkeypox. Priya will attend the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai to become a neurologist and address the stigma of neurodisorders like epilepsy while bringing health equity to developing countries. Please welcome Priya Singh, our second valedictorian.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are we feeling? All right, we're going to try that again. How are we feeling, graduates? Thank you all for being here today. My name is Priya Singh, and I'm so honored to be with you all for an in-person graduation, something we didn't think would happen a couple of months ago. Thank you to President Raab and the Hunter administration for making this a reality for the students, staff, family, and friends here today. I also want to give a personal thank you to my mentors, advisors, and professors who have given me so much love and guidance throughout these past 4 years. And of course, I can't forget to thank my amazing friends and family, especially my parents, sister, and brother-in-law who are here today, for helping this first-generation brown girl, child of immigrants, blossom into who I am today. I want everyone to give these incredible people a huge round of applause. Now, although I didn't have the opportunity to get to know most of you, I think we have some things in common and some shared collective experiences as Hunter students. Many of us are immigrants or children of immigrants, first-generation college students and/or people of color. and we all received a memorable undergraduate education together and got here together. After receiving our college acceptances in high school, or for some of us, acceptances as transfer students, we made a decision and decided to hop on that 6 train together to bring us to the 68th Street Hunter College Station, which, by the way, I initially remember being so fascinated by with the entrance inside the subway station. You guys too, right? That was really cool. And speaking of subways, since we are in one of the greatest cities in the world with many different types of public transportation, I'd like to think of our journey as each year or each semester being a unique mode of transportation one might take in New York City. The first year was no doubt like riding a bike in the city. It was exciting yet nerve-wracking being in this new environment and excitedly walking down the 3rd and 7th floor sky bridges as first-time Hunter students. However, it was almost very much like when you're on the verge of crashing into a truck parked in the bike lane, but for our situation, that truck was probably the financial aid, bursar, and registrar office all in one. Fortunately, we were able to resolve those issues we had with them, otherwise we wouldn't be here today, even though I probably still have some random holds on my CUNY First account that I don't know about, but they'll definitely be there for life. Many of us are also pre-health students, so meeting Camille in the middle of the bike lane was also quite an interesting experience, as we were all low-key intimidated by the pre-health office. But the ride eventually got easier as we made new friends on the way, both at Hunter and in our dorms, and at the club fair when joining new clubs. Some of us also attended big lectures in the auditorium and made some valuable friendships there too while doing clicker questions. The second year felt a little bit better, like we were on a bus, something a little more steady and slightly less stressful than riding a bicycle in the streets of Manhattan. Except for that semester with Orgo 2 and Bio, that was brutal, we don't talk about that. But by now, most of us knew where the best spots were to hang out and study and how to navigate registration time. Just when we thought things were going well, COVID decided to make an appearance, and that bus came to an abrupt stop. I still remember the day we found out all the CUNYs were closing, and my Orgo Lab TA said, "See you guys next week." And then we immediately added, or actually corrected him, and said, "No, actually, we won't be here." And we were also praying that the lab report would be extended. Didn't want it to be due next week. And we didn't know what was to come and what a virtual undergrad experience would look like. What would labs look like? How would the grading system change? How long would this last? Does this mean I'd have to move back to Staten Island? So much uncertainty and anxiety. We were trapped in that bus. It made time feel both so fast yet so slow. By the time our third year came around, we had gotten used to Zoom University, Blackboard Collaborate, yet some of us would still forget to unmute ourselves when trying to speak. Instead of being on that bus, it just felt like we were walking to nowhere. It was a difficult time. Many of us lost motivation and had no social interaction with friends or professors. However, I think we should give a special thank you to some of our professors who made that time easier on us and really tried hard to make our classes feel like a community. Let's give it up for them. The pandemic was filled with a plethora of stressful events and issues like the presidential election, the outbreak of unique COVID variants, vaccine inequity, for some of us, grad school applications, receiving emails about part-time jobs that don't exist, and piano giveaways. I can go on and on. When COVID cases were going down and we saw a glimmer of hope for the future, I remember receiving that email in my Outlook inbox about going back in person and having hybrid classes. I think I had mixed emotions, but I was honestly looking forward to seeing my friends again and just getting out of the house. Our final year consisted of many of us going back in person, seeing each other again, and being welcomed by Hunter babies, and the single functional elevator in the North Building. So refreshing. It felt more like a train ride now, speeding up and feeling more constant. We were getting ready for graduation and trying to meet our final requirements, literally in the home stretch. And of course, as we got closer to the end, the Hunter email and Wi-Fi system shut down. Just another obstacle in the train ride, but we luckily got through that too. And when I look back at the college decision process in high school, I think many students get caught up in treating schools like brands, where the more well-known schools might be considered better to attend. And while that may be true in some instances, my experience at a public university, and that too being Hunter College, was incredible overall. And I wouldn't want to go to any other undergrad school. I think there are hiccups and obstacles along any path we take, but I feel that it's what you make of the experience and how you use it to the best of your advantage. And all of us here did exactly that. I'm genuinely so proud of all of us. We did it, guys. Yes. Go celebrate, take a vacation if you can. And most importantly, don't forget about prioritizing your mental health, as we all realize the importance of that throughout our journey. Remember, mihi kura futuri and Hunter Hawks always. Congratulations, class of 2022.
Thank you so much, Priya, and congratulations to you and to all our valedictorians. Now, I know that for some of you, it feels like it took forever to get the degrees you proudly received today. And for some of you, it almost did. Stacy Hughes started dance lessons at 3. She loved performing, school not so much. By high school, she was rarely showing up, and college was not in the cards. Instead, she auditioned for a job on a cruise ship and spent the next 6 months dancing across the seas. After that, she kept going, traveling and performing around the world, and it wasn't until she was in her 30s that Stacy realized that she really wanted a college degree, that she might be intelligent enough to get one after all. After community college and a baby, she came to Hunter. And today, at the age of 40, the dancer who doubted she was smart graduates with a 4.0 in sociology. Congratulations, Stacy. Vivian Robinson grew up on a farm in rural Jamaica, one of 10 children. Many times her dad wanted the kids to stay home and do farm work, but her mom, who never finished elementary school, said no. Education was more important. So Vivian would catch the bus to school, sometimes without shoes, and come home to do chores. And after a bath in the river, she and her siblings did their homework by the light of a kerosene lamp. Vivian became the first in her family to attend high school and then start college. In her 20s, she made it to New York, now the mother of 2. Many nights the family went to bed hungry, huddling under a shared blanket to keep warm. But after years of working, saving, and dreaming, Vivian got a job as a secretary in a New York City public high school. And in her late 40s, she got herself here to Hunter. She attended college at the same time as her 2 children, including one who also enrolled at Hunter. Mother and daughter sat next to each other in class. Today, at the age of 50, Vivian Robinson graduates with a degree in sociology and a grade point average of 3.9. She will go on to fulfill her dream and her mom's by becoming a teacher. And then there's Thomas Reingold. Tom started college in 1978 when Jimmy Carter was president. In 1982, he transferred to Hunter. He took classes on and off for 5 years, but found it hard to concentrate, which he now understands was due to his ADHD. So he dropped out to work in medical research and went on to have a 40-year career in tech. But some people, many people, no matter how successful they are, will always be bothered by the fact that they don't have exactly what you are getting here today, graduates, a college degree. So Tom decided, he had said he thought he wasn't cut out for college until he came back to Hunter 3 years ago, determined to finish. And now that young man who believed he wasn't college material is a college graduate with a degree in computer science at the age of 60, with a plan to go on to be a teacher. And he's not the only one here today getting a second chance. Arifa Atesh grew up in a tiny village in the mountains of Turkey. Every year, a photographer would come to town to take student portraits. Arifa wanted to do what he did, make pictures. But instead, Arifa wound up in pharmacy school, where only 2 of the nearly 200 students got their license, and one of them was her. While working as a pharmacist, Arifa fell in love with America and moved here. It was a happy life. She was married with a child and a job as a pharmacist in a hospital. But one day, when she was working on the locked ward, a psychotic patient rushed up and attacked her, trying to kill her. Arifa was rushed to the emergency room with neck damage, nerve damage, and worst of all, brain damage. When she got out of the hospital, Arifa could not return to her profession of 33 years, pharmacy. Instead, she spent her days going to surgeons and therapists, was in terrible pain, and had issues with memory. The only thing giving her hope, besides her daughter, was art. At her doctor's suggestions, Arifa started drawing, and gradually, as her brain and body started to heal, she found her way to Hunter's art department. Taking just one class at a time, she began to make art about her nightmares, but also about her dreams and her past. Art helped other people heal, and now her art is about to be hung on the walls of the newly opening Starbucks at Hunter College. And today, 30 years after she left her country, 7 years after she was almost beaten to death, Arifa graduates with a 4.0 at the age of 61 years old. She will pursue a career in art, one that she fell in love with as a little girl. Congratulations, Arifa. Some of our Hunter graduates truly bleed purple. For them, one Hunter degree just simply isn't enough. And today they claim their Hunter Masters to add to their Hunter Bachelor degrees. We are especially happy to celebrate them this year, since the pandemic deprived these graduates the important opportunity we restart today, an in-person graduation. Students like Jai Hariri, whose parents brought her to the US when she was 10 from an Albanian village with more cows and corn than people. She struggled with English in high school, but by the time she graduated from Hunter in 2020, she was in an honors summer program at Stanford and had a 3.99 GPA. Today, she gets her second Hunter degree, a master's in English, with a 4.0 GPA, winning almost all the department honors and awards. This young woman who had such difficulty learning the language is now caring for the future as an English high school teacher, with plans to get her PhD and return to Hunter to teach. Congratulations, Gi. Raquel Akeda also receives her second Hunter degree today, a master's in special education with a 4.0 GPA after graduating Hunter as an English major in 2020. Her parents sought asylum in the U.S. as Assyrian Jews and struggled to build a new life here for their family. Raquel worked all day as a learning specialist while attending her master's classes at night, but she's not finished yet. She plans to get a law degree and become an advocate for the differently abled children she teaches. Congratulations, Raquel. And Daniel Antipov also receives his second Hunter degree today, a master's in linguistic anthropology with a 3.97 GPA. A transgender man who was born and raised in a mixed Russian-Ukrainian family in Moscow, Daniel escaped persecution in his home country due to gender and sexual identity and was granted asylum in the U.S. in 2014. In 2020, Daniel received his Hunter BA in Spanish literature with minors in Black and Latinx studies, as well as English with a GPA of 4.0. Daniel's passion is linguistic ideologies. He is an extraordinary educator working as a Spanish teacher at Uncommon Charter High School. And 200 degrees are not enough for Daniel. He will return in the fall for his master's in adolescent education in Spanish. Daniel has 2 young children and is an advocate for LGBTQ rights in both his homeland and in the U.S., and for the end of the conflict in Ukraine. Daniel's commitment to justice, to the care of the future, and to Hunter College make him the perfect person to represent our graduate student class at this year's commencement. Please welcome our graduate school speaker, Daniel Antipov.
Congrats, class of 2022. We made it. Woo! I am pleased to talk to you today to give encouragement and good advice to us all. I was getting prepared to talk about the importance of language and how special the friendship we made in Hunter to us all and can last a lifetime. I was also going to share a few personal anecdotes, such as, can you imagine me standing on this stage today when I was here 4 months ago, literally at Bad Bunny concert right there? But instead, I want to share with you a short life lesson, maybe the most important lesson I've learned over the course of past 10 years that I've spent in the United States after escaping persecution from my home country. The video of speech might not get clickbait name like best speech ever or he did what on his graduation speech, but I hope that it will answer your heart and give you food of thought. Every experience is valid. All the roads get us somewhere, and although some pass through our real-life nightmares, they take us to places we often need in order to leave the comfort zone in which we are finding ourselves right now. The shells we build around ourselves need to break. We need to learn how to meet these experiences, survive or embrace them, learn what we need to learn, and get ahead in our journey on our own road. For some of us, experience comes whether we want it or not. We definitely left our comfort zone when we started Hunter. But over the course of past 4 years, Hunter has become our home. It became my home, and I cannot be more thankful for it. I came from the mixed Russian-Ukrainian family, and I was born in a country where a queer person wouldn't be allowed on a stage this important, but would end up in jail or probably disappear. We often forget the tragedies continue to happen even if they're not covered by media. Just like the war in Ukraine that has happening for past 3 months, 2 weeks, and 4 days now. And while the news is hard to get, families like mine continue to live in the surreal reality of waking up every day in cold sweat from images from Bucha, videos from Kiev, and from fears it may be the last time we hear our family members' voices. This experience teaches us how little we actually know about what others are going through and how important it is to never devalue others' feelings or experiences. When I escaped persecution and granted asylum because of being trans and queer, I realized how much this experience was a blessing that led me here, to this city, to Hunter College, to this very stage. I will never be a person I am today without experiencing it. A father of 2 children, a partner, a scholar with a master's degree in anthropology from Hunter, and a 10th grade Spanish teacher. These experiences shaped me as a person, and despite the pain, they helped me become a person I am today. Never stop moving, class of 2022. I always tell my students that leaving anything in blank is not an option. You cannot fix the blank. You cannot learn from it. You cannot step up from it. You cannot move forward if you leave too many blanks in your life and just go with the flow. Take chances. Living carefree life is not an option right now. We're all here, class of 2022, because we took that risk. And I cannot be more proud of each and every one of you for doing that and for making it today. After finishing my associate degree in another CUNY institution, I was scared. Fear of failure was so high that I wanted to settle for a minimum rather than going through stress. However, in Hunter College, I found home, and I will not be standing here speaking in front of you if I left blanks in my life, if I was too scared to dare to dream. I won't be teaching and seeing my own students walking from a Spanish 2 classroom to graduation stage with high hopes, dreams, if they left it in blanks. So congratulations, class of 22. We guys made it. We made it through hallways, to Zoom calls, through bad connections, to take-home exams. We've experienced it all. It's your turn now to turn the page and decide whether you want to make it count or leave it blank. And I'm personally rooting for all of you. Congratulations, class of 22. Felicidades y slava Ukraini.
Daniel, thank you so much and congratulations. And because of your commitment to research, learning, and to Hunter, we are pleased to present you with this scholarship towards your second Hunter Masters that you will start in the fall. Congratulations. And now to represent all the graduates and to present the class gift of 4 of our Hunter students to represent the Hunter community. Allegra Acevedo is a Macaulay Honors student graduating with a major in Women and Gender Studies and a minor in journalism. She is passionate about public service, has interned for the League of Women Voters, and tutors Hunter students at the Dulciani Math Center. Christy Lau, a double major in computer science and media studies, is committed to empowering students from underrepresented communities to pursue a career in tech. She will go on to work in digital design at Shopify. Ruth King is a Roosevelt Scholar graduating with a degree in political science with minors in international relations and philosophy. She interned with Generation Citizens and volunteered on conservation research projects in Zimbabwe. Congratulations to Ruth, Allegra, and Christy. Joining them and representing the student body and to speak is our own Dave Basnet, who we've heard about before as our Rhodes Scholar. Dave has been a fierce voice for his fellow undergraduates and will share remarks on behalf of the class of 2022 as Allegra, Ruth, and Christy present the class gift to Kelly Jacob of the class of 2008, who represents the Hunter College Foundation Board here today. Kelly, please come forward. We'd like to thank Kelly for all that she and the other Hunter College Foundation Board members do for our students. Kelly, our success would not be possible without the board's tireless support, including the many scholarships that we've heard about today. Kelly, thank you so much. And thank you, Dave, for representing our students.
Good afternoon. My name is Devashish Basnet, and I'm a fellow member of Hunter's graduating class of 2022. I had the privilege of serving as this year's undergraduate student government president. For many of us, the road to commencement has been a long journey, but our hard work has paid off, and today our academic success serves as a launch pad for our future. Thanks to our time at Hunter, doors that may have been once closed to us are now open. As we pursue new opportunities and start making histories of our own, it is a wonderful time to pay it forward to the next generation of Hunter students. Now, what does it mean to pay it forward? Every year, the graduating class spearheads a special initiative called the Senior Legacy Gift Campaign, collectively raising funds for the college. Not only do funds raised support student scholarships, academic excellence, and student life, but this campaign raises consciousness for helping future generations of students. As a member of the student government, I have seen firsthand how the generosity of alumni, parents, friends, and students has had a positive impact on the Hunter College community. At this time, I'd like to ask everyone to take out your cell phones if they aren't already on your hands or on your laps. Don't worry, we have permission to do this. I'd like you to text the word Hunter to 56512 right now to receive the link to give to the Class of 2022 Senior Legacy Campaign. You should see the text info on the screen behind me and up there. Parents and friends, feel free to join in and make a donation to this campaign as well. The number of individual donors is a determining factor in our college ranking. So literally, every gift counts and increases the value of our degree. Whether you give $20.22 in honor of our graduate year, $10 or $5, no donation is too small. Again, participation matters most. I thank you, and I hope you will support your alma mater today and beyond. To my fellow classmates, now that we're alum, we can look forward to receiving invitations to get involved and attend future events hosted by the Office of Alumni Relations. Again, congratulations to the Class of 22. I wish everyone the best of luck.
Thank you so much, Dave, and thank you all for contributing to support what will soon be your alma mater. And now we are proud to recognize those students who have completed their coursework with exceptional academic records. Associate Provost Christopher Braun, please come to the podium.
In addition to your 12 valedictorians, there are other graduating students who merit very special recognition for their academic achievements. Will the members of the following groups please stand? The salutatorians. Candidates who will be graduated cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude. And members of Phi Beta Kappa. Congratulations. Please be seated.
At this time, I will call to the podium the deans of Hunter's 4 schools who have special words for their graduates. We start with our School of Education, which of course was our first school. Thomas Hunter came to this country like so many of our graduates from another country. He believed that young women, to be better teachers, deserve 2 years of content education and a year of pedagogy. So in 1870, he created one of the first teacher training schools in America, and the city recognized this gift by putting his name, Hunter, on our school. Today, we proudly recognize the extraordinary students following our founder into the noble profession of teaching. Students like Priyanka Deb, who is drawn to teaching by the English as a second language teacher, who helped her overcome frightening barriers in elementary school. Priyanka came from Bangladesh when she was 5 and struggled with English. Her teacher helped her both master a second language, but also be proud of her native language and heritage. Today, Priyanka graduates with degrees in sociology and childhood education with a 3.9 GPA and will return to Hunter for her master's in teaching English as a second language in the fall. Congratulations, Priyanka. Ruby Eagwood, a double major in education and English, will care for the future as a substitute teacher at Brooklyn New School, where she is an advisor to the Disability Allies Club and is known for her talent to inspire confidence and reliance in students. This special skill reflects Ruby's experience as a teenager when she was struck with a neurological ailment, very serious, and which left her mute, unable to walk or to write. Ruby dropped out of Hunter on her first try, but returned, slowly regaining her ability to talk and walk and believing in her dream of becoming a teacher. She graduates today at 29 with a 3.8 GPA and classrooms of students who adore her. For many of you, teaching is a second career, a real calling. That was true for Philip Horton, who was born in Greece and came to the US when he was 4. Philip earned an MFA and had a very successful career as an actor. When his 2 sons were diagnosed with developmental learning delays, Philip became involved in his children's school as a volunteer, then a para, until he finally applied to Hunter for a new chapter as a teacher. Philip, who is committed to engaging more men in teaching, graduates today with a master's in early childhood education, a GPA of 3.98 at the age of 47. Congratulations, Phil. And I'd like to call forward Maria Malvrides, who also changed careers when her daughter was born with a disability. Maria herself had overcome great challenges after she was sent to the US alone to go to the hospital from Peru as a toddler when she survived a near-fatal car crash. She returned, though, at 15 to the States when she was awarded a full scholarship to Brandeis University to study economics. After a successful career on Wall Street, she turned to teaching and received her master's in early childhood special ed at Hunter in 2013. Maria makes our founder proud this year by representing our first class of new doctors of education. Her dissertation focuses on her life passion, inequities in New York City childhood education, and she will use this new degree to strengthen her advocacy for education reform. Maria, we're very proud to have you representing our new Doctors of Education, our EDD. We know you will care for the future as a professor in our School of Education. Maria, please come forward and join Dr. Marshall George, who will drape the doctoral hood. Where are they? Congratulations, Maria. And Dr. Marshall George, the Olshan Professor of Clinical Education, will drape the doctoral hood on now Dr. Maria Malvrides. Congratulations, Dr. Malvrides. Now please welcome Dr. Michael Middleton, the Clara and Larry Silverstein Dean of the School of Education, to recognize his graduates. Dr. Middleton.
Thank you, President Raab. Will the candidates for all degrees from the School of Education please stand? On behalf of the faculty and staff of the School of Education, I want to congratulate you on your remarkable achievement. I also want to extend my congratulations to your family and friends who've made this moment possible. We're especially proud this year as we graduate our first cohort of doctoral students in education. And we have our first master's degree graduates in computer science education and applied behavior analysis walking today. From our school, we graduate students who will meet the critical needs of New York City as school leaders, counselors, teachers, and early intervention specialists. In classrooms, our graduates are prepared to work with the full range of diversity and strengths represented in our city schools. Graduates, As you know, Hunter College began as a normal school to educate teachers. Our founder, Thomas Hunter, had a strong commitment to providing access to all qualified women, irrespective of race, religion, and ethnicity. He also aspired to improve teaching through rigorous professional preparation of educators. As graduates, you embody those aspirations. You've received instruction from our world-class faculty members, studied with a diverse group of peers who brought a richness of perspectives and experiences to your classes, and participated in placements in school and community agencies to guide you to meet the challenges of your future work. As teachers, counselors, and school leaders, you've chosen a profession that makes a difference in the lives of individuals, families, and our community. You're in a position to contribute to our democratic ideal of a more informed citizenry and to strengthen our country's workforce. The impact of teachers, counselors, and administrators is immeasurable. In his book, Democracy and Education, John Dewey wrote, "Education is a social process. Education is growth. Education is not preparation for life, but is life itself." My hope for you is that you will approach your new professional role with the ideal of making a difference and valuing the strengths that each of your students brings as you guide them in their education and their life. Graduates, please be seated.
Congratulations to the extraordinary teachers at Hunter College. Now, here at Hunter, we love our nurses. They are our heroes. I mean that literally, because even as students, you go out and you serve on the front line of healthcare, including during crises like the recent pandemic. Thank you. We are so grateful. Some of these heroes are on this stage with us today, like Ademuyiwa Ohikiri, who was born in Nigeria, where he worked for 13 years as a CPA. What he really wanted, though, was to help people in their most vulnerable moments. So he took an enormous gamble, giving up his career, immigrating to New York, and entering Hunter's nursing school. Today, he graduates with his bachelor's and will care for the future, working with cancer patients. Merle Warren grew up in Jamaica, filled with a desire to help others. It took many years for her to realize her dream of getting her nursing master's degree. She's 61 now, but she is finally getting this degree. It hasn't been easy. She wakes up at 4 a.m. for a 3-hour commute to her hospital and then on to Hunter for classes. But today, she graduates with a master's in community public health and a determination to keep nursing into her 70s. Woo. And Rosa Yakubova graduates today with a BA in cognitive psychology and a 3.8 GPA. But Rosa's real passion is to become a nurse after witnessing what happened to both her mom and dad who went through emergency surgeries. For the last few weeks, Rose has been waiting to find out if she's been admitted to Hunter's accelerated nursing program, which is her first choice. Good choice. Well, Rosa, we have an envelope for you today that contains the answer, and it's your letter of acceptance. Congratulations. And now please welcome our Associate Dean of Nursing and Rudin Professor, Dr. Elizabeth Cohn, to recognize our nursing, health professions, and urban public health graduates. Dr. Cohn.
Thank you, Professor Rabb. Good afternoon. Will the candidates for all degrees from nursing, physical therapy, urban public health, speech-language pathology, and audiology please stand? Woo! On behalf of the faculty and staff of the School of Nursing and the School of Health Professions, we acknowledge the hard work and celebrate the completion of your degree. I also want to congratulate your friends and family who have supported you on this journey. You have chosen a professional path that will impact many lives. As a health professional, students, you have witnessed the last 2 years of the pandemic through a different lens. You have learned the essential skills of your profession while observing your faculty and preceptors adjust their strategies to deliver the best care possible to patients in an environment that didn't always make it easy. Your own education has undergone many changes in the last 2 years, from in-person to remote and back again. You have protected yourself, your patients, and their families while trying to learn and make a difference in their lives. Your perseverance, adaptability, and enthusiasm makes it clear you will be successful in your career. Over the last 2 years, nurses, physical and speech therapists, audiologists, and public health professionals have shown our country that you are not only essential, but inspirational. We are proud as you join these heroes on the front lines of the healthcare system. The pandemic has taught us to expect the unexpected. There will be many unprecedented events in the future that you will confront, but given the incredible resilience you demonstrated during the last 2 years, I know you will be successful beyond your dreams. Congratulations. I wish for you a meaningful and fulfilling career. Congratulations again. You may be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Cohn, and congratulations to our healthcare professionals. We so appreciate you. And now it is time to recognize the compassionate, insightful graduates of Hunter's Silberman School of Social Work. This includes graduates of our new undergraduate social work program. You're going to stand. This includes graduates of our new undergraduate social work program like Lyndon Isles, who sought asylum in the U.S. to get the medical care he could not access in his native Guyana. Lyndon was inspired to study social work because of the supportive care he received in the hospital and because, as a queer Black immigrant, he is committed to social justice for marginalized populations. Lyndon will go on to Columbia University for his MSW on a full scholarship and plans to come back to Hunter to teach. Congratulations, Lyndon. And big congratulations to the graduates of our world-renowned MSW, like Jang Hwan Cho. Jang was a fashion major in South Korea when his family's business went bankrupt and they were forced to move to an impoverished community where homelessness was rampant. With his world turned around, Jang's focus turned to social inequality. He made a documentary on the homeless in Korea and applied to the Silberman School of Social Work to hone his advocacy. But once in New York, with little money and less English, Jang fell into depression. Seeking help, he found few resources for struggling Koreans. Dejected, Jang returned to Korea, got support, got married, and then came back to Hunter, determined to help Koreans like himself. He interned with a Korean community group and focused on making sure that elderly Koreans had food, counseling, and companionship during COVID. Today, Jang made it. He graduates with a master's in social work and will care for the future as a social worker helping homeless Koreans in New York. And graduates like Elisa Bonner, who knows the ravages of addiction firsthand and how social workers can literally save lives like hers. Elisa left her alcoholic dad in small-town Georgia town at age 18 for the big city. But in New York, she got caught up in the world of drugs, ended up at Rikers, and then served 4 years in prison upstate. Frustrated by the failure of drug rehab programs in prison, Elisa finally got the help she needed. She got off drugs, got out of prison, and vowed to create a path for people like her. It took Elisa 20 years to get her BA, and once she did, she came to Hunter, where she faced new obstacles. She was hospitalized with pancreatitis and stopped out when her husband sadly died of COVID last June. But she persevered, and she graduates today with her master's in social work at the age of 52, a 4.0 GPA, and 16 years in recovery. Congratulations, Elisa. So please welcome Dr. Mary Kavanaugh, the Dean of the Silberman School of Social Work, to recognize her graduates.
Hello. I don't need to ask the social work grads to stand because you're already standing. Let me say, if you ever want a social worker, you want somebody that's come from Hunter College social work, no doubt about that. We are so very proud of you. You've chosen the profession of social work in order to support the most vulnerable in our society. There's no greater sense of satisfaction than knowing that your dedication, education, and training will have a profound impact on the lives of individuals and communities that are most in need of your support. Your deep commitment and tireless dedication to achieve your goal of attaining an MSW or a BSW degree brought you here today. In the midst of a global pandemic, you suddenly were cast online to complete your rigorous coursework and intensive field placements. And as challenging as it all was, you prevailed. We could not be more proud of you. During your time at Silberman, you have come to know and to live the message of the venerable civil rights and children's rights activist Marian Wright Edelman, who states, "Service is the rent we pay for being. It is the very purpose of life and not something that you do in your spare time." I am certain that you will carry this message forward as you continue what will be illustrious careers as professional social workers. Many of the BSW graduates are moving on to advanced standing programs and master programs of social work, and the MSW students are already employed or will soon be employed throughout New York City and beyond. Graduates, on behalf of the faculty, administration, and staff at the Hunter College Silberman School of Social Work, we proudly confer the Master of Social Work and Bachelor of Social Work to you extraordinary graduates. Congratulations. You can all sit down now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Mary Kavanaugh, and thank you to our social workers. And now for our largest group of graduates, with Andrew Polsky, the Ruth and Harold Newman of the School of Arts and Science, please come forward to recognize his graduates.
Congratulations, graduates. Good news, we're almost done here. Mine is the last speech on the program. I would like to thank all of the previous speakers for warming up the audience for me. At commencement, speakers often talk about giving. We encourage you to give back to your neighborhood, to our city, to our nation, even to our planet. And we certainly want you to give to Hunter College to help make it possible for the next generation of amazing students to create their future as you have created yours. But I'm not going to talk anymore about giving. Instead, I want to talk about some things that you should take. First, take credit, but only when you've earned it. Don't hesitate to let people know when you've added value on a project or you've solved a problem. It would be wonderful if people readily gave credit every time it was due, but that just doesn't happen in this world. There are times that you have to make sure that your efforts get noticed. Second, and this is the flip side of number one, take responsibility. You're going to make mistakes, whether at work or in your relationships with others. Don't be too proud to admit it or too arrogant to apologize. Third, take ownership of your decisions. Your education has empowered you to make new choices about your career. Others may give you advice, but you define the path, not your family, not your friends. And since I'm on the subject of taking things, there's something I want the parents in the audience to take. Moms and dads who are out here today, take a step back. Your child may need a little time to figure things out and may make a few mistakes along the way. Give them a little space. And you get a reward too. You get to remind them that they own their own choices. They don't get to blame you if things go sideways. Fourth, take stock of your life. Over the past 2 years, many people decided to change their lives. They left jobs that they found meaningless, they ended relationships that had gone stale, or they accepted less income to move to a place with a better work-life balance. But it should not take a pandemic to get you to reflect on what is important to you. Don't put your life on autopilot. And last, certainly not least, and I say this not just to the graduates in arts and sciences, but to the social workers, the teachers, and the professionals in public health. And I say it to the faculty behind me who have worked so hard during this pandemic. Take time for yourself. During the pandemic, people worked longer hours while caring for their own families, sharing tight spaces, and it wore them down. You can't help others the way you want to if you let yourself burn out. And so, by the extraordinary power vested in me as Dean of the Hunter College School of Arts and Sciences, whatever that is, I hereby give all of you permission to be good to yourself. Thank you, and please take your seats.
And now, I would like to ask Phil Akebis, Director of the Bachelor's of Science and Public Health Program and representative from the Hunter College Senate, to come to the podium.
Thank you, Associate Provost. On behalf of Professor Laura Keating, Chair of the Hunter College Senate and the Senate's Administrative Committee, I am honored to transmit to you the list of names of candidates for Hunter College degrees and certificates approved by vote of the Senate.
Thank you, Phil. President Rabb, I now have the honor to certify that the candidates have satisfied all requirements, and I now ask that you confer on them their degrees and certificates.
Now for the moment you have all worked so hard for. Will candidates for all degrees and certificates please stand one more time? With the authority granted by the Charter of the State of New York to the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York and delegated to me, I confer upon you the bachelor's degrees, the master's degrees, the doctoral degrees, and certificates you have earned with the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which accompany them. Congratulations!
President Rabb, we have had a successful commencement experience. Congratulations, go out and have fun, but remain seated or standing until the platform party leaves. Have fun and congratulations.
blossom.